That was the only problem back in the day is PC player, never much local action or knowing any PC players and more PC players. And I agree with that, but I think, you know, I think right now, like the base for Apex, most of the players are on most of the players are on whatchamacallit on console. It's just you can shell out $500 and get or 550 whatever and get a piece or get a Xbox or a PlayStation and it's everything's there. Like it's everything's literally sitting right there. But you know, the PC players, you know, you can't play console, you can play controller, play this and that. I just get tired of the argument, you know. I get tired of the argument that console players, controller players, this and that. Like it's just it's so tired because it's just like there's this idea that console players and controller players have this beam that doesn't exist. I mean, shit, look how I'm playing tonight. I ain't even playing my best tonight. Like that shit don't mean nothing. And you know, now they're like, oh, you know, PC players, this and that. At the end of the day, I'm getting tired of the disrespect. You know, it's being thrown towards a lot of controller players, console players. You know, first, you know, because it's funny, like people go on a tangent and say, "Oh, you guys can't move like we do," and you know, what I'm saying, how do you move with this controller? You don't press these, you don't press one key to do this, and you gotta do this, and then they'll use it and they'll see what it's like to run with a controller, like to replicate some of the movements that PC players do. You literally have to change your ALC, and you have to think like you got to move your hands a little bit more. And it seems like a lot of people just don't. And then when they get it, it's just like, oh, controller's terrible. I can't believe people do this. Where's aimbot, aim assist? Yeah, and then somebody will run right in front of them, and they will literally whiff a clip, and it's like, oh, I thought aim assist was there. Aim assist is not what you think it is. Listen, I promise you, if you play Apex on controller and you've never played Apex on controller before, and you think that aim assist is gonna give you the beam, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. There's a lot of things that go into aiming down the sights and trying to hit people, predicting movement. You know, people don't stand still in console lobbies. PC players tend to like they can turn and shoot at one another, but they're never really like dancing back and forth while they're shooting. I've watched it. I've been in PC lobbies. They don't move around. Now, don't get me wrong, their movement to get to places to shoot you is insane. Like they can be up a zip, turn, jump, wall bounce, do this and that, spin in a circle, boom, hit you with a shot. And by the time they land, they're already shooting at you, and you really don't like unless you got the defense for that or you know how to get out of that shit. Like you're gonna get beamed. Like if somebody's in a PC lobby doing that, you're screwed. Promise. There's a lot of things you can do to combat that, but if you ain't ready for that shit, trust me, it's very nasty. And but you know that's the advantage of being on PC, having mouse and key. You know, they grip up this mouse. You know, I got right here. You know, they take this mouse and they go crazy and they got the keys and they type this and they do this and that. Cool. Don't disrespect controller players. You know what I'm saying? Don't, because the skill gap between using a mouse and a keyboard and having all this stuff there, and then us having to like play with the wheel on the D-pad, use both, use one thing, use this to freaking aim and run, press this down. Like the skill gap is huge, and if everybody had the aimbot and the beam, like everybody thinks that PC or thinks controller player had, every lobby would have 20k four bombs in it. You got people that are level 1,000, 12,000, don't even got nowhere near 10k kills. I think Ab was telling me, Lyrics was telling me the other day, the average KD in Apex right now across 14 million, whatever, however many players are, the average KD is 0.78. The average KD is 0.78. It's not even one. It's 0.78. And if you got a bunch of people playing on PC and console across the board, and the average KD is 0.78, like that should tell you something. Like people are not as beamy as they think it is. Like the aimbot and all the other shit and aim assist is not what you think it is. I promise you that. Like it's not. And you know, I put this game down. I was getting my ass whooped in this game when I first started playing it. And I'm a Titanfall player, so I'm used to respawn's mechanics. And I finally dragged my KD up to 1.07 after like 3 seasons from playing. And there's people that will never see 1.07 or above. Like, I plan on getting my KD to at least 1.2, between 1.2 and 1.5, sometime within the next 2 seasons. But constantly playing and getting better. You know, that's why when people are like, "Oh, controller players got it easy," I'm like, I would love to see the easy that you're talking about. Because if you're off that day, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're off on the day, you're not hitting your shots, aim bot, aim assist, nothing can save you from getting beamed or getting completely shit on in this game, in console lobbies or PC lobbies. You know, so I'm just a little bit tired of hearing about it, you know, and every time you run up against PC players, oh, they must have a controller. And it's like, no, you got beamed because you were standing still. Like, we can aim too, you know. And just for shits and giggles, I'll probably try a little MNK. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna use MNK full time. I don't care how good it is. I'm a controller player at the end of the day. You know, MNK will just be for shits and giggles and content. You know, but at the end of the day, I go back to my roots. I've been gaming since 1994. I've been using a controller since 94. I had a brief PC point in my life where I used PC to play like shit like Diablo and you know, games of that nature where, you know, you're really not just clicking to where you want to go, you know. Total Annihilation Kingdom. Man, I'm really like showing my age. That was a fun game. I love that game. I played like Total Annihilation Kingdom. Like, that was the kind of games I was playing on PC. I was not playing shooters. I played all my shooters on console. You know, I grew up in the COD Halo age. So, you know, it's like, that's what I know. You know, it's like Snipe Down. Snipe Down's a controller player to the death, and everybody knows Snipe Down. Like, Snipe Down was a god in Halo, like 100%, untouchable. Dude was a beast. You know, and then he comes over to Apex Legends, joins TSM, and what does he do? He doesn't switch up and go to MNK. Why am I gonna switch up from what made me famous and popular? Well, why am I gonna switch up from the things that made me great at this game? I know I'm not. Things that made me good at shooters. What? Controller. It was never MK. So, all right, I've had coffee. I'm gonna run to the bathroom and then we're gonna get into some worlds. I think I'm gonna jump in some rank just to see what it's looking like right now, and then we go from there. So, be right back. Thank you for entertaining my rant. Go controller players, love you. MK players, love you guys too. I love the whole Apex community. We're not gonna disrespect one another and say one's better than the other or one's not good enough when you got freaking Preds with 100, Preds with 10, 12, 20, 30K, 40K kills on console, and they earn that shit. Like, there ain't no aimbot, there ain't no speed hacking. The only problem we got over here is DDoSing, which is trash. I absolutely hate it, and it's so stupid. And I hope Respawn figures it out, because DDoSing to get kills is stupid, or to get rank. Like, what are you proving at the end of the day? But other than that, show some controller players some love, man. They working hard, just as hard as an MNK player, if not harder.